I prepare myself before I depart to that particular country. Whether the country is easy or is modern or is backwards or, or other challenges, you need to understand who is your audience. I always adapt it to my audience. This is where you can convey your message easily. You need to understand what they really care and what they're really, really facing their challenges, number one. And then you come up from that perspective locally and then link with the global thinking, and that's where we make connection.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Inspiroqa podcast. My name is Karol Pitner and I'm the host and founder of this beautiful project. The idea of Inspiroqa is very simple: to inspire, to follow your heart, to be more happy. If you are looking for a motivation or inspiration, just listen to our podcast. Listen to the stories of these people you see behind me. Without further ado, let's dive deeply into these stories. Let me start this interview by sharing a little story that happened a couple of days ago. My girlfriend and I, we went to a beautiful restaurant called Akasa in Kintamani in North Bali. As I was enjoying my coffee, sitting on a sofa like this, I look at the sky and I was like, it would be nice if I could record some interviews right in this place. Within a few minutes, all of a sudden, something happened. Two people sat next to us, one on the right side and the other one of the left side. So I was smiling because it looks like universe listened to my wish. And that's what is Inspiroqa all about. It's all about inspiring the people. And thanks to Inspiroqa, I have no problem to talking to the other people from all over the world. So that's why we are sitting here right now with a special guest who was one of those people. The other one is a young guy. He's from France and he's inspiring to become a businessman. We also had a nice conversation and we also interviewed him for Inspiroqa, which you're gonna see on Inspiroqa Instagram page. But in this interview, we're gonna dive into the life of our today's guest. We're gonna ask him about his motivation, inspiration, about his life challenges, about his work, but we got to make sure that in this interview, we're going to be talking only about his personal perspective and personal view. So let me welcome Mr. Ludy Suryantoro, Head of Multisectoral Engagement for Health Security Unit at WHO. Ludy, thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
Ahoy, Karol. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and it's been a pleasure to meet you, coincidentally, and then that's where we are connected in the world.
Yeah, that's why we are here in Bali, and I'm so excited to ask you some questions that also not me, I'm interested, but also our viewers, our community, also my girlfriend. She helped me to prepare this question very nicely, so it's gonna be really nice, and people will understand much more about your life, about the motivation and inspiration. So my first question is, can you please introduce yourself a little bit and especially where do you come from?
So my name is Ludy Suryantoro. So I'm originally from Indonesia, but currently I'm resident in Switzerland, in Geneva. I'm working for the World Health Organization, so I'm the head of Multisectoral Engagement for Health Security, which is we are focusing on the preparedness of the World Health Emergency Program of the WHO. So I've been more than 20 years with WHO and more than 30 years being away from Indonesia, but I'm truly Indonesian.
Wow, thank you so much. So you mentioned you work for WHO. So my question is, while you're doing this job, you have the opportunity to meet like world leaders or presidents, am I right?
Yes, I have I'm fortunate, very fortunate that I, through my work, basically, I have met with not only just world leaders, but world leaders in different ways, leaders in scientists, leaders in terms of government, but it's also leaders of the organization. And as the cross-sectoral head of a unit, I engage also health and non-health sector. So this is very important because health will touch upon different sectors as well. So that is also influence to the foreign affairs, to the tourism, to the defense security, because health is really global issue and is really important issue.
Wow, thank you so much for a beautiful explanation.
Thank
Did you
you.
ever imagine that this will be part of your life? Like, for example, because this Inspiroqa podcast is about motivation, inspiration. It's about helping the other people to help them find their visions, their mission, their future job that they're really gonna love. Because many people are struggling with their work, right?
Right.
So did you use any kind of visualization or whatever motivation before you got this job, or it just happened because of like you had the experience before job and you never knew about any kind of motivation or inspiration before?
Thank you so much. I will share with you my personal views and my personal opinion on many different things. So this is very important. So just to give you a little bit of background, I started my career long time ago, in the 80s. So I was working for the Indonesian mission at that time, and particularly for the General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, which is a secretariat prior to the WTO. And then from there, I worked for the Group of 15. This is a summit level group of 19 countries. So here I've met with world leaders. I'm talking about prime ministers, presidents from important non-aligned movement countries, such as Egypt, South Africa, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and many others like Brazil. And during that period, I really experienced in terms of a global issue, global context, global trade issue in particular, and political issues. So I'm dealing a lot with the policymaker of the country and member states. And then I joined WHO after that. Since 2000, oh my God, it's like 2003 now, when we have SARS. If you remember, the world experienced the first,
Yeah, I remember that it
epidemic.
was all
Yes,
over the media.
all
Yeah.
the media, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Toronto. So I was working immediately in the health emergency program. And since then, I've been working in building partnership with many countries and cross-sectoralities as well. From the, during the, avian influenza, the H1N1, the Ebola crisis, and then, of course, the famous COVID-19 that is touched upon everybody. That is reality. It is global pandemic.
Wow. So how did it look like when you had to face this kind of, I wouldn't say media push when somebody's asking for like, give us your opinion, or like, how does it feel like when somebody, like the media is calling like, hey, Mr. Ludy, can you please give us your opinion? And you suddenly become more famous, so more people are asking, including me for the interview, How does it look like, if you
So,
can share?
just to explain that WHO is a member state leading organization, and we are the lead in health issues. So, in the world, so we have 193 and 96 member states, right? So we work with the member states in terms of how we can deal with the pandemic issue and preparedness and a better response. So once again, I'm sharing it with you. This one is my personal experience as me.
Thank you so much.
And my personal views as well. So yes, it's been a privilege, to tell you the truth, to be able to work with many countries around the globe, and then making sure that we can be better safe, and then solidarity means a lot between countries, and then no one's safe until everybody's safe. So we need to make sure that the world is getting smaller in terms of threats in the future, because people travel easier, people are connected easier right now with the social media, with everything. Every information can be gathered. So when they call me, usually we are the member states were called me basically in terms of how we can build the collaboration for a better solution in the world. So in talking about the better policy, and this one, we have the international health regulation that is legally binding by many countries. So I try to support many countries. Our role as a secretariat, as personally me, is really to support country to build their capacity for better preparedness and better response. So that is my role so far.
So that means you travel a lot, am I right?
Well, I suggest a lot. I give a lot of advice. I do a lot of sort of consensus building because every country have different needs and different situation. No one is one size fits for all, so every country is unique, right? So what we are trying to adapt is that how we can have a global policy, but it's adapted to national context as well, because everyone has a different structure. So it depends continent by continent. But again, the basic is that we can do better if we are prepared better. So I think every country has solution. We do have solution, organization, not only just WHO. There is so many other organizations out there. And we can provide expertise. We are supporting countries in terms of how they can build better, protect the population, protect the economy, as well as healthier population and safer for the world.
Wow, do you consider this job as your mission?
Yeah, well, you know, I want to join nonprofit organization because I believe in terms of how we can doing good and game changer to the world, right? The world required a lot of solution, and I think we always come up with a lot of challenges. But it's also, once they have challenges, they have opportunities.
I see.
You see? And then I think what I'm trying to do, at least to contribute to the world solution, is by providing an initiative that is linking countries, building partnership, collaborate, and then most importantly is also within national level, regional level, and global level. So I work with a lot of colleagues also at the country level, at the regional level.
So when there is, for example, some kind of problem, we don't need to specify, I'm talking about general from our own perspective,
Yeah.
and there is a challenge, they're looking for the opportunities to solve the problem. Those solutions are coming just from your mind, just like, okay, you gave me a lot of data, a lot of information that they have a problem with, let me think about it, I'm going to find a solution. Or you have all the time some people that comes to fly away to those countries and you make a deal together.
Oh, normally the way we proceed, or at least we collaborate, is the following. First, we need to get the mandate. The mandate, where is it coming from? It's coming from all the member states. So in WHO process, this is what we call it, the resolutions. So resolution meaning all member states, 196 or 95 countries, 94, plus minus, they have to agree to address key issues. So I give you example right now. Urban preparedness is about city, right? There is so many mega cities around the globe. So Bali is one of the big hub, right, for tourism, but it's also Thailand. But then the Balinese authority, when they do preparedness, they are not necessarily understand the global perspective for preparedness. So the WHO member state has passed a resolution on urban, and then basically this urban preparedness allowing WHO to work with national level and subnational level and the local levels. So it's a collaboration between cities across the globe. And this is something that we need to make sure, because it's closer to the community. We can address the community. We can address the collaboration city to city, you know, because this is where we can alert better. We can have a better best practices from every city. Every city finds solution. Every city has its own strength and its own challenges. If we share it, then we can do a much better place in terms of how we can deal the next crisis together.
And how does it work? Is it working well?
It's working well. We just have starting the rolling out the framework. So we call it the Urban Preparedness Framework. And then we are working with different authorities from Bangkok to Hanoi to Seoul, the city authority, but it's also to Zanzibar authority, for instance. So we do have a lot of a good feedback, and they find it very useful. It's very practical. We build the community practice. we make the community stronger, but it's also addressing some infrastructure that is needed, because this is where do we have enough facilities that is addresses for the next challenges in the future? Do we have enough access to healthcare? I give you an example. In Bangkok, for instance, there are so many foreigners staying in Bangkok, right?
Yep.
They work and stay in Bangkok, like in Bali, but during the pandemic, they don't have access to some health care.
Aha.
You see,
I
how
understand.
can we address this issue? So Bangkok has done a very good job in terms of how they deal with this. So they shared recently about their best practices. So, so in the future, now we have a better understanding on how we can address the migrant workers and, you know, to map out, you know, those local and also foreign workers in the country or in the city authority. So this then address their needs, their facilities, but it's also make sure this community are resilient.
Yeah.
They are aware on how to handle in the future. So that's what we are getting it, and then hopefully by next year we can share more concrete you know, results. You know, Singapore is a good country that is supporting this resolution. So we hope that we can learn each other, share each other best practices.
So it's basically all about cooperation, looking for the ways how to improve the old system and support each other.
Absolutely, leveraging in partnership.
Yeah.
Everyone come up with a good solution. As I said, I'm sure everyone has its strengths. If we collectively put into one, it's going to be a great actions, right? So collective action from all countries and the communities behind it and the people behind it, we can find a better solution in the future, definitely.
You mentioned the word strengths. What are your strengths?
I think I can say that I'm a very an expert in partnership. I think that's my strength. My strength is to build partnership between different institutions, different countries, build common goals together, and then inspired one organization to collaborate with the other organization. Our role is really to convene. My role is a convener. So I'm a great in terms of building that platform. I believe also I do have a lot of passion in my work. I'm really passionate about my work. So I wake up in the morning being inspired what I do. And I think that is important to keep you going and then believe about what you do.
Yeah.
You know, I think doing well and doing good are good things, but I think we need to balance in life. So I think doing good would bring a better way of wealth in the future.
We mentioned at the beginning that you met the world leaders, maybe presidents. My follow-up question will be, because I'm curious about it. Right now we are having a nice friend conversation. When you are talking with some leaders or presidents, right, can you be friendly to them, or it's all about being serious? Because when I'm watching medias, everybody's so serious. Yeah, we have economic problem, you know, we're gonna help like this, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Or it depends.
It depends. You know, there is a protocol, what we call it, right?
Yeah.
So the protocol is to have a mutual respect. You know, our role is to support them. So it's not to question them, but it's to support them. Usually, the country will be determining about what they need and then what they want us to do. Partners who are interested to support, we are also bring them in order to support the country. So our role is really to convene and to build that partnership together. So I think you know, the preceding country by country is different. In Asia, you have manners to say first, to meet with the local or with the authority. Other is much more straightforward. You know, in Europe, it's much more straightforward, but I think the culture, you know, diplomacy is very important to respect that. There is an international standard on diplomacy. We need to respect those. We need to know our boundaries. What is important is that we know what is our role there. Once you understand the role, then you will be able to contribute more. I think that is the most important part.
So my other question is,
Yes.
what do people and nature need the most these days?
I think the answer will be care. We need to take care each other really well. We need to take care ourselves. This is important. Self-awareness, being, responsible. I think that is important. To share values is important. So once we have the shared values, it doesn't mean that we need to believe in one of the values or another, but at least to respect each other values. And I think once we have built that sort of more compassion, more empathy in the world, and more responsibility each other role in terms of how we can make this world better and safer in the future. So I think that is the most important part in the world. I think we need to have more care about the environment. We need to be better care in terms of what education that we're going to bring to the next generation. We need to have a better responsibility in terms of what information that you share to the social media. There is a positive and negative. The balancing between those is important. And then what is important also, whatever we do will affect others, will impact. We need to try at least what you do, for instance. You try to make an impact, right? So if every one of us making an impact, that would be a better world in the future, right? So we are understand the values, we respect each other culture. If I come to your country, we understand about what no do than the don'ts. But we have a common goals in terms of we are shared values of how we should take care of environment. We share values on how democracy. We share values on how we respect each other. We are curious each other in terms of curiosity of culture and solution. We learn continuously about each other, right? So I think the more that the people have that solidarity in the context, then I think the world is in a better place. But I've seen it, a lot of movement, the youth are moving that way. And also, the world is, the aging population is increasing in the world, yeah? So I think we need to think about the next one in terms of how we can build this a better place for aging that is continuously in the future, that is aging population, addressing those needs. I think a good policy for the government, a good community engagement between us, and then internationally is sharing these values and responsibility. I think that is the better way.
That's the reason I had a vision to create this project Inspiroqa, because I'm coming from Slovakia, our language is Slovak, it's not English. So I was asking myself like, okay, God, let's call it whatever way you want, if you believe it or not. But I was like, I know my strengths, which I love to talk to the people. I studied how to become a public speaker, then I became a moderator, and I fell in love with this. So I was like, maybe this is my strength, but start something that is going to be internationally. Because luckily English is the world language that everybody can speak in every country, right? So we can have a cooperation like you use in WHO, you use English language, if I know, or maybe French, because you can also speak French language. And that opens many doors. And with this, we can give the education to people in like a different age, to young one until the elder people. Like, for example, my grandparents, they're using smartphones. 10 years ago, they were using like the old phone, like with those numbers when you have to scroll the numbers and call somebody. And it's a process because we cannot stop it. People have to evolve somehow, and it's coming worldwide. And I see you as a very humble and very open-minded person, which I really love. How is that even possible? What makes it so humble? Because usually when you see people like in your position, in your, let's say, status quo, or how to call it, people are more like egoistic, like, no, I don't want to talk to this guy. He doesn't have like millions of followers. Why should I talk to him? But you open the door. We are in your villa right now, recording. You gave us your time. We're supposed to start the recording 2 hours ago. And because we had some troubles with the sound, we had troubles with everything, and you were just like really calm and humble. How is that even possible?
I think I have to thank to my parents. I think that is the first education that I got, is to respect. I think that's the way that I handle myself in terms of how I respect everybody culture. I always think about there is always somebody who knows better than
Yeah.
me. I always learn. I learn from you. It doesn't mean that I've been to many countries that I know everything, but I think it's more about make yourself curiosity and then making an impact.
see.
Being humble is always rewarding in terms of how you're going to approach more approachable, more easier to talk to different people, and then being open-minded, right? Always positive in terms of what we do, and that's what I handled myself. So I don't know in terms of humbleness, but I think work is about work. But the minute that you finish outside work, you become as a part of the community. So you need to remember whether you're in this position or that position, you're back to the community. So you need to give back to the community. So I think that is the most important part.
We're talking about positivity right now.
Right.
The other side of positive, there is a negative side, right?
Right.
Is there anything in your personal life or in a business life, still up to how we're going to reply to this question, that you regret, or have you done any mistake in your life?
Oh, I make a lot of mistakes, but you learn and you come up better, right? I come out with, I continue to be in progress. You know, I never put myself in the pedestal that I know everything and I never make a mistake. I do make a lot of mistakes, still a lot of mistakes, and still learning. You know, and I think that is where you get the lesson learned. You come back, regroup, and then you understand, okay, I need to do better the next day. And then all the good things for those who wait. So being patient, well targeted, but patient. So sometimes when we do it in a rush, that's you make a lot of mistakes, right? So being patient, being effective, I try to be as effective as possible in communicating with others, in working with each other. But I think, I think that's the way I seen it myself in terms of how we should address, you know, every negativity or every bad situation. I know it's not easy. I'm not trying to say that, you know, all challenges are the same, you know, but if we have an empathy that we understand somebody's struggles, then we are already contribute something to that struggleness, right? Because when you say I'm struggling in one area, it's nothing in the other area because they have better, more challenges. They don't even have water. You see what I mean? People didn't even have water, and here we are talking about we don't have an internet. It's two different things. Let's say, you know, I don't have any connection, so I'm in a not a good day. You know what I mean?
But in general, we as a people, we make it so serious. Like you said, there is some countries that don't have water, they don't have gas, they don't have electricity, for example, the basic needs. And me just trying to work, and suddenly the internet shut down.
Exactly.
And I'm upset and I'm screaming, you know. And
Yeah.
then when you stop yourself, but wait, this is not an issue. Maybe there's a
Yeah.
bigger reason. There are people all over the world that are struggling. Either they have low salary, they have like no place to live. There are a lot of homelessness all over the world. Why am I supposed to be upset because of this, you know?
I know.
But it became like part of our lives.
I know. So I have to share with you. I have my personal experience. You know, you know, to experience living with the people of the nomad people who live in different areas in Mongolia.
Okay.
And it was in the beginning I was worried, like, oh, where should I go and take a shower? Where should I, you know, where should I sleep? Because I didn't see you know, they have to make a tent. But they do it, you know, with a tent. And I said, oh, I'm not surviving without phone. And then suddenly it's the most beautiful experience that I have. Among beautiful thousands of stars, we just listen to traditional music. And people, I don't even understand what their language, but people are doing the storytelling to the children. It's really the most rewarding moment. And then you see that you are small, you are part of the big world here. And then they're happy. Although they have limit on what they have, but they're happy, genuinely happy. And their smile also. Of course, they struggle in terms of getting their facilities going. They need to keep moving. The environmental right now is a big issue. So Usually they have, they are a lot of horses. In the past, some meadows have grass now because of the environment is keep changing, so they need to change the areas as well. So I think appreciate what you have. You've been blessed, and I think follow your journey. I think follow your journey to the maximum, but it's always open heart, and then think others. I think that's make you humble.
Yeah.
You asked me about humbleness.
Yeah.
Think about others.
Wow.
Think about others. So put others first, then yourself.
That's really nicely explained. I like it. You mentioned Mongolia. That means that you travel a lot. Have you ever been scared while traveling, either because of your personal travels or because of you had to go somewhere to solve some challenges, look for a solution?
Yeah, I was before WHO. So I was in the middle of mission in one country that is very non-accessible. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, let's put it.
And it's very, very challenging. But again, you follow procedures. You respect the authority. You need to respect the authority. It's like I'm coming to your house. You see, I cannot just come
There
to
are
your
some
house.
rules for
There are
sure.
some rules, and we need to follow the rules, and then we need to follow the culture. In Slovak, it's a different culture, So we need to understand each other, and then usually what I did is, it is very challenging, but always have a positive thinking. And then prepare yourself. Learn, I prepared myself before I depart to that particular country.
That's the
So whether the country is easy or is modern or is backwards or or other challenges, you need to understand who is your audience. And I think I always adapted to my audience, and that is where this is where you can convey your message easily, because you need to understand what they really care and what they're really facing. Their challenges, number one, is what you see, and then you come up from that perspective locally, and then link with the global thinking, and that's where we make connection.
Wow. How do you balance your professional life with your personal life and family time?
So I'm a father of two. I have two boys, adolescent boys. So they grew up in and raised and born and raised in Switzerland. So they're Indonesian, but they are educated in Switzerland. So they speak French. Their mother tongue is French. So the balance is really to convince about the culture. They still Indonesian values, bringing the Indonesian values to their mind, and then continues to respect our culture while being international, right? So the balance that I do is that usually what I did is that my work is quite heavy.
Yeah.
I immediately stop when I stop. So during the COVID, I have to work from home. For me, it doesn't work. For me, it's that I need to cut off between work. I prefer to go to a place where we can work, to meet and to integrate and to sort of like, get the communication face to face. It helps a lot, as you know. It doesn't mean the Zoom and other is not helping. It's helping a lot. But I think for me, anyway, the way that I cut between balancing is basically the minute that I am home, I'm not looking at work anymore. I switch my priorities to my family, and then making sure that you spend time with your children, no matter what you do, because everybody has opportunity to find, to get much better position, to get much better lifestyle, and so on and so forth. But time, you cannot repeat. So I think time is the reason here. You cannot repeat, you create memories. So what I do, as much as I can, is to share the values to my children, but it's create time, memorable time. And that's what I do now. We are in Bali, so we go back and try to do as much as possible that they can remember for the rest of their life.
Beautiful. You mentioned you have two beautiful sons, right? So my question is, do you have any expectation or standards on them because like you have really tough job working for such a big organizations? Do you expect your son to have at least similar job as you have or just let them be wherever they want to be?
Well, is basically you need to guide them, right? This is important. The most important part, you guide them when there is a process where you guide them normally, like any other parents, right? We try to guide our children as much as we can. But we cannot compare our success with their success. Their challenges will be different with my challenges. Their challenges in the next 10 years, which is not the same of last 10 years of mine. We can share the lesson, but I think in terms of what they dreams, I think they are individuals. We need to respect every individuals. They are part of me, but it's different mindset. So I think the struggle between different generation is to understand each other in terms of how to pursue the dreams. Now, every dreams is always valuable, and I think how they would like to be able to reach it. The most important part, they can be part of the best they can to be a good community, right? Part of the community. This is important. Whether they are pursuing arts or the other is pursuing other work like me, for instance, but I never expect that they have to follow my dreams. But if I inspire them, because my children always, ask me about what I do, they said, "Oh, what you do? You just make a speech." I said, "No, I'm not just making a speech. I'm also train them, build the capacity of different people." So I think if, as long as we can be inspired, they can be a good citizens, global citizens, local citizens, and then being happy. I think that's the most valuable, right? Their happiness is very important. They feel fulfilled. The minute that they feel fulfilled, and I think they can be whatever they want to be. I think this is important.
That's really nicely explained because not so many, let's say, children can have this kind of parents who be like inspiration for them. So basically you are the number one source for them to show them, I'm not going to tell you, you should follow me, you should have the same job as me. But I'm going to tell you how we gonna how we could overcome any life challenges whatsoever. And the one thing is like to be happy. That's what is life about. To be happy, enjoy, supporting, and community. So my question is, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh my God. Trust your journey. Sometimes I come in with the doubts, and then, I said to myself, oh my God, this is the end of the world. There is a light at the end of every tunnel. I came from a very humble background, so I reach what I reach right now. Always believe being blessed. So I would remind if the young myself is to believe yourself, and always think positively that there is a way that you can make progress. So hope is important. Learn from every wisdom, but hope is important for us to progress.
Wow, beautiful. And what legacy do you hope you're gonna leave behind?
Oh, I hope that I will be part of the world, sort of like a global, game changer in the world. Like you to contribute to many different good things. What I do is a lot, as I said, partnership. That is a strong strength of my expertise per se. And I think, hopefully different initiative that I initiated, it will be lasting forever, or at least inspired others to do continuously to work in this context. So, yeah, hopefully I continue to contribute to make the world a better and safer place.
Well, that brings us to our last question. I always ask people final question, which is, can you please give us some message for people who are going to watch this interview?
So I would ask you to continue to listen to Carol. I think he's done a great job. The theme is about being inspired. Let's be inspired each other, and I think you can be inspired by others, and you can inspire us too. And I think by sharing this life experience, sharing some ideas, creativity, and whatever it is, let's to connect each other, and connecting each other through this platform, such as your podcast. And I think it's simple things, but make a great impact to the world. So let's share each other experience. Let's share all the positive things, and then yeah, hope is important. Let's bring the solution together. Whoever come up with a better solution to the world, and doing good and doing well. Remember, a balanced yin and yang. So that is important.
Thank you so much, Ludy Suryantoro.
Thank
you
you
so much for the interview.
Thank you so much.
This was our another episode. I hope you liked watching it. I hope you found the inspiration that we were looking for. This is not the last episode we're gonna make. There will be more episodes coming soon. So if you are still looking for a motivation, inspiration, you would like to spread the idea of motivation and inspiration to the other people, you want to support your family, feel free to subscribe our channel, give us some comments, recommendations, feedbacks, and if you have any idea for somebody who is so special, send us the information about these people, and later on we can record the podcast for you. So until next time, see you soon and stay safe.